The Kia Telluride has enjoyed an unprecedented run of dominance, taking home our top-rated SUV award 3 straight years. Many have tried, but none have really come close to matching the Telluride. That is, until maybe now. This is the redesigned 2023 Honda Pilot, and though it hasn't gotten a major update since 2016, the previous Pilot actually sat in an impressive 3rd place in our mid-size 3-row SUV rankings, and we think that with a few updates in key areas, the new Pilot might have what it takes to knock the Telluride off its perch. Let's find out how. But first, let's pay some bills. If you're enjoying our videos, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And if you want more info on the 2023 Pilot, hit the link in the description. And if you're looking to sell your car, head over to edmunds.com/sellmycar to get an instant cash offer. This being a full redesign, the Pilot gets a long list of changes, starting with a brand new exterior look that's topped off by this more assertive front grille that makes it feel a bit more rugged. Under the hood, a brand new 3.5-liter V6 that is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. That's an upgrade over last year's 9-speed. The new engine is still 3.5 liters in size, and it makes 285 horsepower and 262 pounds-feet of torque. That's slightly less power, but exactly the same torque as you'd get in the Telluride. And this is only a 5 horsepower bump versus last year's engine, and that's a lot of work to go through for just a little increase in power. Now, obviously we aren't going to get to drive the Pilot today, but our issue with the Pilot has never been how it drove. Instead, we think that there are 3 key areas in which the Pilot needs to improve in order to give the Telluride a real run for its money. It needs a larger and more functional interior, it needs technology upgrades, and it needs some kind of secret sauce, something to give this lineup a bit more sizzle because, for the past few years, it's been very competent, but also a little boring. The Pilot takes interior flexibility to another level in this class. Underneath the cargo floor here is actually a stowable 2nd-row center seat, and this allows the Pilot to expand its seating capacity from 7 to 8 passengers on the fly, a feature that no other vehicle in this class offers. Now, the seat itself is actually not too heavy. It only weighs about 20-25 pounds. As you can see, I can lift it out, I can lift it up over my head, not too much trouble. Come around this way, I'll show you how we put it in. All you do is take the seat right here, pop in these hooks, and then it drops in just like that. And if you pick up an 8th passenger along the way, they have somewhere to sit. With the seat installed, that also opens up a very large secure storage bin in the back. And in SUVs like this, having places to store valuables that can't be seen from outside the car, very important. Speaking of the cargo area, that's also grown in this redesign. Behind the 3rd row, there's now 22.4 cubic feet of cargo storage, and that's more than most of the competitors in this class. Honda says that the Pilot has a 3-inch longer wheelbase in the redesign, and so that's sort of where the increased cargo volume comes from, but it also pays dividends in the 3rd row. And that's good because the 3rd row was an area of weakness for the previous Pilot. I like to put these mid-sized 3-row SUVs through what I call the 3 Brian's test. So, I'm just under 6 feet tall, I set the driver's seat where I like to drive, I set the 2nd row to just where I'm comfortable, and then I see if I can fit in the 3rd row, because any SUV that can handle almost 18 feet of Brian stacked up should be fine for fitting most adults in that 3rd row. The previous Pilot actually failed this test pretty miserably, but in the new one, it passes. There's actually a little bit of room here between my knees and the seat in front of me, and maybe more importantly, there's enough room under the seat for me to put my feet so they don't feel too cramped. And in the 3rd row, you also get a ton of headroom, so it makes it feel a bit more open and airy than it actually is. If I have one complaint, it's that the seat cushion is still a little bit too low, so my knees are pulled up, but if you want to put an adult back here for a couple of hours, you shouldn't feel too bad about it. So the Pilot's interior functionality definitely improved. Now let's see about that secret sauce. Bringing the extra flavor to the Pilot lineup is this, the all-new Pilot Trailsport. This is the 2nd Trailsport model that Honda has ever made, and the first one was more of a glorified appearance package, but this comes with some real off-road upgrades, and that should help the Pilot compete better with the Telluride. The Telluride also introduced an off-road oriented model for 2023, the X Pro, but that vehicle doesn't go nearly as far in enhancing the off-road capabilities of that model. Let's see how. If you're gonna go off-road, it all starts with wearing the right shoes, and the Pilot Trailsport definitely knows the importance of proper footwear. You get the first time that Honda has offered an all-terrain tire, so a Continental all-terrain tire around an 18-inch wheel. Very attractive wheel because it has this nice Trailsport logo actually stamped into it. and this diffuse sky blue paint job exclusive to the Trailsport as well. Underneath, you're gonna have 3 separate skid plates that can each handle the weight of the vehicle coming all the way down on a rock. And you also get a 1-inch suspension lift, unique springs, and unique stabilizer bars. So real suspension upgrades and a lift that should give this plenty of capability over the standard Pilot. It's not just the suspension that's been upgraded. There's also a next generation all-wheel drive system that Honda says is beefier and quicker to route power to wheels that have grip. Up to 70% of the engine's available torque can be directed to the rear wheels. And if you have a wheel in the air, instead of stopping it, it actually allows a little bit of torque to go to that wheel. So the moment it touches back down, you get instant grip. And that should give the Trailsport more dexterity off-road. Out back, it comes with a standard tow hitch and a full-size spare. And then inside, there's one more killer thing that it does that we're gonna show you. For those new to off-roading, one of the most difficult things when you're on a trail is seeing. And when you're in a high riding vehicle like this, it can be difficult to see rocks and other obstacles that you're trying to get around. But Honda has a solution for that with the Trail Watch camera. All you do is press this little button right here, and at speeds under 15 miles an hour, it will show you a live view of the outside of the vehicle using the vehicle's camera system. So default, it goes to a front view, and with this view, I can actually see rocks and things that kind of sit under the sight line of the hood. And it also has this handy side view where if I'm trying to squeeze between something on the trail, I can see where the sides of the vehicle lie. This is just a very cool feature that makes off-roading just a little bit easier, and it's a piece of technology that we really like on the Pilot Trailsport. But the rest of the technology, maybe not so much. Let's get right to it. This is the largest screen that you can get in the Pilot, and it measures 9 inches, which doesn't seem all that small, but then you consider that most of the competitors offer screens over 12 inches in size, and this doesn't really quite feel like it lives up to those. Powering the screen is the same Honda multimedia system you'll find in the new Civic, HR-V, and CR-V, but even though it's relatively new, it already feels kind of old. Certain things are very clunky, especially the navigation where the map looks pixelated and it lags a bit when you're trying to zoom around and do other things. That's very different than these other modern systems, which are very snappy and easy to use. And we do get a physical volume knob, which we like, but this just feels like a letdown. The rest of the Pilot feels super new, but the technology is one area where it still needs a good upgrade. There are pretty good connectivity features though. All the trims that come with the larger screen also come with wireless, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay connectivity. And all of those trims also come with a wireless charging pad, which is down here in this storage bin. Now, one thing we do like about this wireless charging pad is that you can really fit larger phones on it and it doesn't get in the way. So when you're not charging something, this is still a convenient place to store small items. Speaking of storage, something the Pilot does super well. A very big and deep center bin here and another storage shelf in front of the passenger, so there's plenty of spaces for small items. We're here in the elite trim level of the Pilot. This is the Pilot's top trim level, and there are some nice leather and materials on different touch points, but it does fall short of where the Telluride is. The top trim levels of the Telluride have better materials and they can actually feasibly pass for a quasi-luxury vehicle, and the Pilot doesn't quite reach those heights. The dashboard might not get the big tech infusion we'd hoped for, but the Pilot's already strong suite of active safety features does improve for 2023. It will be available with traffic jam assist, and that will help the adaptive cruise control system work all the way down to a stop, and it also features an upgraded forward-facing camera and an upgraded radar. So that makes it 2 out of 3 for the new Pilot. The interior, much larger and more functional. It passes the 3 Brian's test, and it has that very flexible second row that gives the Pilot a unique feature in this class. The Trailsport gives this lineup a much needed injection of excitement with its off-road capability. And yeah, technology, it does fall a bit short, but we do think with those updates, the Pilot actually has a chance to challenge the Telluride. Now, to find out for sure, we'll have to get a Pilot in and put it through our entire Edmunds rating process, but we shouldn't have to wait too long to do that because this vehicle goes on sale this December. Thanks for watching, and head over to edmunds.com for the latest car news and reviews.